Thank you all for listening and watching my videos. Please subscribe and like my channel Master Coolitz. Hoping that you will not skip my ads. It's a big help for me by not skipping it. Thank you so much. Dragon Shadow. The Rise.
In the dimly lit cave, Zane Martel knew he had to quicken the process to ease Victor Quinn's suffering. He focused his willpower and released 2 more streams, transforming them into needles. Now, with 3 needles at his disposal, he could repair Victor Quinn's willpower energy faster. 3 times the pain, but 3 times shorter the time. Zane Martel took short breaks every 3 cracks he repaired, hoping to reduce Victor Quinn's pain and prevent him from passing out. After what felt like the time it took to eat a meal, Zane Martel had repaired over 50 cracks. The 3 needles hovered above the willpower energy, resembling a rough lunar surface.
Quinn, the repair work is completed.
As soon as Zane Martel spoke, Victor Quinn's body went limp, collapsing to the ground, gasping for breath. His clothes were drenched in sweat, his face pale.
Zane Martel, thank you. Thank you so much.
With that, Victor Quinn fell into a deep sleep, his body finally surrendering to the exhaustion and pain he had endured. Zane Martel didn't disrupt his sleep, understanding the ordeal his friend had been through. He would wait for Victor Quinn to wake and teach him the technique of merging the power of nature. Zane Martel stood and strolled through the cave mansion. Some rooms were protected by formations, but many were open. The mansion, though modest at about 200 square meters, had everything one might need. He found an open-air garden at the end of the cave, with a pond teeming with fish and a smooth stone wall covered in inscriptions.
Is this the technique of merging the power of nature? No, it seems incomplete. Quinn must have written these when he was experimenting.
A warm current surged in Zane Martel's heart. He sat on a bronze chair in front of the stone wall, meditating on Victor Quinn's findings. The inscription suggested the power of nature wasn't designed to merge, hinting at catastrophic results if one tried. Zane Martel's mind raced. What if the technique could be perfected? What if they were on the brink of a breakthrough? He needed to decipher the incomplete notes to understand the risks and potential of merging the power of nature. As he pondered, a realization struck him. What if the incomplete technique was the key to something greater, something unimaginable? But what if it led to disaster instead? Zane Martel's heart pounded. The answers were within reach, but so were the dangers. What would he discover next? The suspense lingered, the tension palpable. Only time would reveal the truth behind the stone wall's secrets. At first, Zane Martel thought he was seeing things. He couldn't believe it was true.
We need to use the power of nature to completely assimilate the willpower energy. The result of the assimilation is the mark. Every single willpower energy ball can only assimilate one type of power of nature. Theoretically, the more energy balls there are, the more power of nature can be merged.
Zane Martel listened intently, his mind racing with possibilities.
But since my 3rd willpower energy ball was damaged, I only assimilated the other 2, so I could only merge the wind and fire power of nature.
Zane Martel felt as if he'd been struck by lightning. His mind went blank. Every willpower energy could assimilate a type of power of nature. He currently had 8 willpower energies. Could he really assimilate 8 different types of power of nature and merge them into something terrifyingly powerful? If one could assimilate 2 types of power of nature, why not 3, 4, or even 8? Zane Martel's scalp tingled at the thought. Victor Quinn then took out a book and handed it to Zane Martel. It was filled with his thoughts and experiences on merging the power of nature. Zane Martel flipped through it eagerly. After reading for hours, he took a deep breath, feeling invigorated. Victor Quinn was undoubtedly the most talented person he'd ever known. To develop this research on his own was incredible.
Quinn, there are a few points I'm not clear on. Here you say it's merging.
Zane Martel listed all his questions.
Sure, let me explain. This part is crucial for the merging process.
Victor Quinn explained enthusiastically, answering every question. The room buzzed with energy as they delved into the intricacies of merging the power of nature. Zane Martel's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and revelations. Each answer brought them closer to harnessing unimaginable power, yet the risks were great. What new challenges lay ahead? The suspense lingered, the tension palpable. Only time would tell if they were ready for the consequences of their discoveries. What would they uncover next? The The journey had only just begun. More than half a day had passed when Zane Martel finally found enlightenment. He committed most of the methods to memory and then sought out Victor Quinn, requesting a secret room for his closed-door cultivation. Victor Quinn obliged, and Zane Martel entered, determined to master the merging of the power of nature within the month before the selection for the Dragon Envoy of Carlton. Inside the dimly lit secret room, Zane Martel sat cross-legged, a faint power of wind dancing around his form. As he closed his eyes, entering his willpower space, the wind swirled in his mind, converging around a fist-sized willpower energy ball.
All right, focus. Just like Victor Quinn instructed.
The natural breeze lifted the energy ball, causing it to hover. Zane Martel began using the power of the wind to assimilate the energy ball, aware of the dangers. Victor Quinn's cautionary tale of his own damaged willpower energy ball and the resulting injuries echoed in his mind. In the silent void of his willpower space, Zane Martel's power of wind sharpened into a blade.
Go now.
The blade of wind shot forward, piercing the surface of the energy ball. Zane Martel's body shivered violently, sweat drenching his forehead as an indescribable pain ripped through him.
Hurts! It hurts!
The pain was excruciating, as if a knife twisted through his veins, crushing them. He finally understood Victor Quinn's suffering.
Damn it. I didn't expect it to be this painful. Quinn endured this and perfected the technique. He's a genius, a rare genius.
Zane Martel's body tensed, his nerves strung tight. The agony was unbearable, and any slight distraction could be fatal. Still, the process of assimilation was far from over. The power of wind injected into the willpower energy ball began to gradually spread like circles of ripples, affecting the entire willpower energy ball. In addition to the pain, Zane Martel also felt a pleasing cool sensation. It was probably due to the power of wind.
I must succeed. I must succeed.
Zane Martel muttered in his heart and prayed. If he failed to do this at once, he would have to try many times. Not only would his pain increase exponentially, but it would also bring unimaginable damage to his willpower energy ball. By then, his energy ball would be full of holes and cracks. More and more wind power spread out, gradually filling up the energy ball. Slowly, the color of his willpower energy ball changed from its original light blue color to a cyan color. There also seemed to be an insignificant change in its form. Finally, a hair-sized cyclone was condensed inside the energy ball, spinning and blowing like a strong wind.
This is done.
Zane Martel was overjoyed. He hurriedly checked and let out a sigh of relief after he confirmed that he had succeeded. Zane Martel opened his eyes. Joy flashed across his eyes, and his clothes were soaked by then. Due to the muscles all over his body squirming and tightening, he felt sore all over, as if he had been beaten by someone.
It's a pity that the Sky Demon 99 transformations have no effect on countering the pain caused by my willpower. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so painful.
Zane Martel walked out of the secret room and realized that only a day had passed. However, Victor Quinn was not in the cave mansion. Instead, he left behind a voice transmitting talisman in the living hall.
Where is Quinn? Why did he leave the voice transmitting talisman behind?
He crushed the voice transmitting talisman, and Victor Quinn's voice came from inside.
Zane Martel, something came up and I have to leave for Blood Lotus Island first. I guess you're still cultivating in my cave mansion now. Remember, don't be late.
Zane Martel could not help but smile when he heard Victor Quinn's message. Although Victor Quinn was extremely talented, he didn't put on airs. In fact, both his clothes and temperament looked so ordinary. According to Victor Quinn, he was born in a low-level kingdom. No, it was a poor area that could not even be regarded as a kingdom. It was so barren that not even a blade of grass grew in that place. Victor Quinn's childhood was spent in a barren place with no hope. As for Victor Quinn's family, although they were regarded as middle class, they still led a poor life where they could barely have a full stomach by the end of the day. Growing up in a poor environment enabled Victor Quinn to develop a kind character, lacking shrewdness. Therefore, even after Victor Quinn's talent and terrifying skills were noticed by others, he did not forget his roots and used all the resources he gained to improve his hometown. Now, his hometown might not match ordinary cities or cities in low-level kingdoms, but compared to the past, there had been a significant improvement. At the very least, everyone lived and worked there in peace and contentment. The barren barren land was also now full of lushness and vitality.
Haha, I guess Quinn will return to his hometown before heading to Blood Lotus Island.
Zane Martell smiled and said to himself. Then he took out and devoured 2 pills to restore his willpower. More than half a day later, his physical condition was restored to its best, and he entered the secret room again and began to assimilate the power of thunder. The power of thunder was not comparable to the power of wind. Zane Martell's grasp and comprehension of the power of thunder had only reached the middle stage. He was far from being able to reach the limit. Furthermore, the destructive power of the power of thunder was simply too terrifying. Right after he had condensed the power of thunder in his willpower space, he had already felt a chill down his spine. In his willpower space, the golden power of thunder constantly cracked, and the sounds of explosions could be heard incessantly.
Condense!
Zane Martell condensed the dense power of thunder into a point and turned it into a long spear. It was extremely sharp and emitted a terrifying aura.
Go now!
Fixing his mind, the spear directly broke through the defense of one of his willpower energy balls, went deep into it, and immediately dissolved. The ripples continued to spread out, and each ripple brought along a hot and restless aura. Like a giant hammer, the auras constantly hit Zane Martell's heart. Loud sounds rang out one after another.